I have a stalker, so this started about 3 months ago. I work in an art store and I do a little of everything, helping customers. Cleaning, stocking shelves, etc. And one day this guy comes in asking for some help as he never really took up art before. And lucky me, I was chosen to help that guy. We talked for a bit and I asked what he wants to learn, what medium he wants to use and such. He said he's into sketching ATM and wants to expand his horizon. I say, cool, I can give you a few directions, blah, blah, blah. And somehow it comes up that I'm also an artist and he gets really interested and asks me if I can help him with art, which caught me off guard because, I said that I'm not a professional and I'm not interested in teaching, and he took that well and off he went. Next week he returns again and specifically asked for me and said he brought his sketchbook this time, which I found very odd since I don't remember agreeing to help. He shows me some of his sketches and I notice he only draws K-pop singers. And I realize one of them is a member of Bulletproof Boy Scouts. I don't listen to them. And pointed it out. He starts raving about Bulletproof Boy Scouts and K-pop and the like, which is like, okay. Apparently I hit a sweet spot for him because nobody likes K-pop and I know of it. Anyway, he starts coming in now every few days, and at this point I'm really disturbed by him. I also found out he learned when my work schedules are and when my birthday is, my name, how old I am, etc. I only found this out because of a few encounters with said customer. One day I clock into work and I see him waiting in the stairs for me. And he acts all surprised, like, whoa, didn't know you were coming in so early. And I could tell he's lying because he was sweating really badly and couldn't look at my face. It creeped me out so much. On my birthday, he came up to me at the exact time I'm supposed to start my shift and gave me a gift and a note. He drew me a member of a band I like and gave me a birthday card and told me that he wanted to bring me something a day before my birthday because he knew I wouldn't come in the day of. Mind you, I never told him my birthday. He probably overheard me talking about it to my coworkers, and it creeped me out so much. I had insane amounts of anxiety, and I had to muster up the courage to act like I wasn't completely off-put by this. After he walked away, I looked at the note he wrote me, which said, "Happy 20th birthday. Keep making people happy and being so kind." Postscript. I'm not a paper thief, so you can have this back. Huh? Paper thief? And then I realized the paper the note was written on was a piece of garbage I threw away months ago. He picked it up from the trash to return it to me. That made my blood run cold. He came in and asked for help like usual when he brought up buying something for kids. And because I wanted to know if maybe there's a wife or something involved, I asked, oh, how old are your kids? Obviously, I also need to know to give him age-appropriate supplies. And he started freaking out and saying, they aren't my kids, I don't have kids, I am not married, and started asking me if I'm married. I said I'm not married, but I am in a committed relationship and have been for 5 years. A lie. And he got very disappointed and walked off. I thought maybe that was it. He didn't come in for 2 weeks and I was overjoyed up until today. He came up to me during work while I was busy and asked for help. And I asked where I was for 2 weeks, which really confused me, but also disturbed me deeply. I tried my best to not interact with him and told my coworker to take over for me while I go hide in the back. She agrees and keeps him busy, and then he just ends up leaving. After he left, she called me over and said I can come out. And I asked, did he ask anything about me? And she looked at me with a concerned look and said, yeah, he did. He asked why you're so busy suddenly and when you'll come out, if you work tomorrow, and the like. I'm riddled with anxiety, and it's making me really anxious at work because I'm afraid to see him. Thankfully, he hasn't done anything physical to me, but it's putting a lot of mental strain on me, and I don't want to quit because I love my job and coworkers. Also very important to mention. After the birthday incident, the moment he left, I went up to management and told them everything about him, and that he creeps me out and I feel really unsafe. My manager said, it's totally legitimate to go after a girl you like. That's what men would do back in the day. You should feel flattered. And the co-owner said, it's all because women wear little clothes nowadays, it makes the men act up. I have to conform to dress code I haven't even showed as much as a shoulder. I told my parents and friends, and they are all on my side and think he's a complete weirdo. Honestly, I don't know what to do about it. It's really creepy, and I'm scared to encounter him again. I also talked with my dad about it, and he really came around and understood me, and he asked me if that guy scares me. I responded yes. And he said then that's all I need to know, and that he will come over there himself if the guy doesn't stop hanging around the store. The guy came in again one day, but right before I have to clock out, I finish early on Tuesdays. I tried to ignore him and was mostly successful as my coworker took over for me. He came in asking for paintbrushes and asked which ones to get. My coworker offered him all kinds, and he came up to me and said, "Hey, Kayak," my legal name, "which one do you think I should get?" Again, I tried pretending like he wasn't there, but I couldn't escape to the storage room as it was already locked and it was beyond our closing time. I said, "Hey, what paints do you use?" There's different kinds of paintbrushes to all paint. And he says, "Oh, well, I don't have any paints, and I don't paint." And it clicked in my head that it seems like he just wanted an excuse to see me. My coworker was very confused and asked him in response, "I just advised you on what to get." "I don't see why you need to ask her." And I shit you not, this freak says, "Oh, well, I know her better and we have a connection." Huh? I was mortified by what he said. I was about to clock out and I managed to take a sneaky photo of him. And my mom came to pick me up because she was worried he may try to follow me home if I walked. After I get home, I get a message from my coworker, younger than the one I usually work with. This is a morning shift coworker. And she asked me all kinds of questions. "Hey, Fa, I noticed something was very off about you when we were about to close. Was that guy somebody you know?" And I just couldn't contain it. I let out everything and told her. She sent me a voice message in response saying something along the lines of, "Okay, tomorrow when you clock in, me, our boss, and our boss's boss are going to sit down and talk about this, and how we are going to prevent him from talking to you or coming into our store again." She also was very understanding and told me about a case a few years ago where the exact same thing happened to another young girl who worked there. It blew my mind, but also it kind of pissed me off because, like, this happens 2 different times with 2 different guys and you still don't protect your workers? Never mind that. She gave me words of encouragement and said that I'm not alone and that all of us, my co-workers, are there to protect me. However, the great news, I went into work the next day after my coworker spoke up about this to my personal manager in the store. And she asked me all kinds of things about him, what he looks like, what he has been doing, and whatnot. The whole time she was very supportive and was disgusted by the owner's reaction to this. The whole team in the store gathered up together and we started speaking about countermeasures and how we move forward. He will be banned from the store, and if he continues trying to get in, my coworkers will protect me and hide me. We also talked about not giving out any info about each other ever, though I think this was very obvious. I'll also be escorted to my parents' car and or the bus by one of the male coworkers I have. We are friends and I trust him. We had a long conversation about this, and I'm not sure what my manager said to the owners. She said she will chew them out, lol. But they seem to have turned around on this situation and see him as a total creep now. I also have informed the police about this creep. They said that right now they can't do much because he wasn't doing major stalker things. But at least they know what he looks like in the situation, which is still important, I feel. A stranger tried to get me into his van after I got off work. At the time this encounter occurred, I was 19 years old and I had just closed the store I was working at with another coworker. They drove home, and since I lived just right across the street, I thought I was safe to walk home alone. After all, it's just a 2-minute walk to my apartment. The apartment I lived in had an auto shop below the building which my uncle owned. This is important info, trust me. It was around 9:30 at night, so it was pretty dark out and the roads were empty. Not even 10 seconds after I walked across the street, a dark blue minivan pulls up beside me out of nowhere. This kind of startled me, so I looked at the driver in confusion. I was carrying some bags of stuff I bought from work, and the guy driving the van noticed and asked if I needed a ride. I kindly declined his offer and just told him I just live a few minutes away, and so I started to continue walking. But the guy started slowly following me and continued, "Are you sure you don't need a ride? I don't mind," he asked, and again I declined and continued to keep walking. But he was persistent, and this started to creep me out, so I started walking faster and ignored him as he'd repeatedly say things like, "Come on, get in my car. Come on, get in the car. Get in the car. Come on, get in." I was afraid to run inside the apartment because I really didn't want this creep to know where I lived, so I was going to just loop back around the building to lose him. Thankfully, I noticed that the auto shop's lights were on, and the garage door was open. My uncle must have been working late in the shop. So I walked towards the open garage, and the van sped off in a hurry as soon as they were about to pass by the open garage door. I told my uncle about what just happened, and waited a few minutes before walking back out to get into my apartment. I locked all my doors and windows and stayed in the living room until my dad came home from our cousin's house. Thankfully, I never saw the van again. I did finally buy some pepper spray after this incident. I usually always had my weighted pocket knife on me, but I had actually left it at home that day, after using it to cut thick string for some crafts I was working on. To everyone, even if you only have to walk 2 minutes to get to your destination, even if you think you're safe, Please treat it like it's a 20-minute walk home at night in a really sketchy town. Always be on high guard and continue with causation when going anywhere alone. If you at all don't feel safe walking alone and you have anyone like friends or family that you know you can trust, that wouldn't mind giving you a ride or even tag along with you, don't be afraid to ask because it might just save your life.